I have to go back to the office on Monday the 31st, and I can't even go into my local office. They're making us drive to the closest district office, which is an hour and a half one way from me. Y'all, I'm a single mom. I take my kids to school. I pick them up. I take them to the after school activities, and I know it's not a big deal. Like, I knew that this was coming, but I did not think that they were going to make us drive that far. I do everything for my kids. And it just sucks that I'm going to have to be this far away from them. I don't know what to do. I can't just quit my job and find another one because I pay my bills. I have to take care of my kids. And I can't be without a job, but this just... I know, y'all. I know that y'all probably think that this isn't a big deal. But
now at the bottom of the screen, it actually says, this sucks. It says state employees, government jobs. So I'm assuming she had a federal job. This is a federal worker or federal employee that has now been called to return back to office. Y'all, we've been seeing a lot of videos like this going viral on the internet where a lot of federal employees have been told, hey, y'all got to go back to work. And this is causing a lot of heartache for a lot of people that work in the government sector because it's seeming very last minute, very unorganized. And they are being told, hey, you got to drive about 3 hours, or pretty much you're saying you don't want your job anymore. So what we've been seeing online is a lot of people expressing their grievances because this has been impacting a lot of people who just quite aren't used to this schedule. There are federal employees that hadn't went into the office in decades. Some people just years. Some people it's just been since lockdown. And a lot of people have been also going through this probationary period where their job wasn't even very secure to begin with. But what we're really seeing in this whole thing is, and that I really want to point out, is that there is no secure job. Now, I'm pointing that out because I've said this in many videos, and a lot of people like to get mad and they like to point at specific jobs and be like, do better pretty much. But the government sector isn't even safe. Like, the federal employees aren't safe either. Nobody's safe. The closest that I could even think to somebody being safe is somebody who signed they name on the dotted line and they a soldier, because you pretty much got to kick them out the military. And shoot, at this point, we don't even know if they safe. There is no safe job. Unless you are the boss, there is no safe job. So I know a lot of people like to point and say, ha ha, now you got to do this like the rest of us. I would just ask people to have a heart. Yes, while there is no safe job, if you are a working person and you work for anybody else, your job isn't safe either. But the fact of the matter is, if they don't go back to work, they can just kiss the job goodbye, because the job does not care whether you decide to commute or not. In my opinion, this is a way to just get people to quit. Because if you quit or you take like a severance or something like that, or a payout or a buyout, you might not be able to get that unemployment. If they fire you, that's a different story. But nonetheless, I would never celebrate anybody losing their job or feeling like they're on the verge of losing their job because of driving distances or anything like that. Now, I'm not saying I don't understand where she's coming from, because an hour and a half is far, and I understand it sounds like she got in a routine of being able to be close and be there with her children. And I wouldn't be happy driving an hour and a half either. But I even heard some people saying that they had to drive 4 hours. And I was like, man, they're going to spend half of their day on the road. And though I feel for those people, they really only have a few choices. Either they're going to move closer to work, they're going to resign from their positions, or they're going to allow the company to lay them off because they didn't adhere to the standards. And yeah, an hour and a half does suck, but it really could be worse. Like, some of the other workers I'm hearing, like, man, 5 hours? And some of them are actually doing these distances, which makes it even crazier because they're trying to keep their job, which I can understand, especially in this economy. Who wants to lose their job? So I really just feel like they are stuck in between a rock and a hard place. But at the end of the day, they got to do what they got to do, and nobody is safe. And that's just the truth.
I do everything for my kids, and it just sucks that I'm going to have to be this far away from them. I don't know what to do. I can't just quit my job and find another one because I pay my bills. I have to take care of my kids, and I can't be without a job. But this just, I know, y'all. I know that y'all probably think that this isn't a big deal. But again, like I said, I do everything for my kids. I take them to school, and there's just not going to be enough time for me to do that now. And I don't know what I'm going to do. And I hate showing vulnerability. I hate showing weakness because I do everything by myself. But this just fucking sucks. It just fucking sucks. So I have to go back to the office.
So another thing that she pointed out that is a big contributor to the stress that she's feeling is the fact that she's a single parent. She is a single mom that works and takes her children to school, and I can understand where she's coming from with that. And I honestly think that this will just take her some time to adjust to that hour drive that she's going to have to make if she wants to keep her job. But I can still understand her frustration, but at the end of the day, she's probably still going to have to do what she got to do. Another thing I want to bring up is this conversation online about people who have these remote jobs and the fact that they're lazy because they were working from home. And I really want to know, what do you all think about that? I personally didn't have an issue with federal workers having a job that is remote. Unfortunately, what we started seeing online, and I think I'm going to try to show you all, is that there was a group of people who were just like, yeah, I got to go into my job, so do you. And it's like, having a remote job wasn't a crime the last time I checked, but apparently there is a group of people on the internet that are very upset that people even have these remote positions simply because they don't have the remote positions. Now, I could understand the perspective of, hey, we want to make sure that there's not fraud, waste, and abuse. That's one thing, which is a lot of people's arguments, right? And if bringing people back into the office is now going to stop the fraud, waste, and abuse, I could understand the argument of the people that were upset about the fact that these people have remote jobs. But the real argument I'm seeing is, I have to go into a brick and mortar facility, so do you. And if we're giving you taxpayer dollars, you should be in the office doing the job. You should not be at your house. You should not be able to do anything else. So I want to know, what do you all think about that? And be honest, if you had the opportunity, you yourself had the opportunity to have a remote job where you could work from home, would you take it? Would you like that? Do you think that all federal employees should not have ever had remote jobs? It is very interesting to see the dialogue online, that's all.
Oh my gosh, that went crazy viral.
Oh, okay. So this is another video from her. This is a follow-up video, and it says, these comments are not it. Where has empathy gone? Your feelings are valid, mama. It's a total lifestyle change for you, and it's okay to feel frustrated. Look for something else in the meantime. And that's just kind of how I feel. I feel like she's frustrated. She's airing out her grievances. But at the end of the day, I know a lot of y'all like to say the term, oh, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But quite literally, she don't have a choice. She's going to have to do what she's going to have to do. And that's what a lot of people are doing. Yeah, they might cry about it in the meantime. They might be frustrated. But a lot of people are going to return to office, and they're going to make these ridiculously long drives. And I wish them well, to be honest, because I don't celebrate the fact that anybody is facing hardships, trying to figure out how they're going to pick up their kids, or figuring out how they're going to do daycare, or how are they going to do whatever they're trying to do from very long distances. Now, for her, it's not that bad. I know a lot of y'all are like, oh, an hour and a half is a lot. It is a lot. But when I heard them folks was doing 4 hours, I said, they could have it. They probably would have got me with the 4 hours. And some of them are making the drive.
First of all, I am not complaining about not working from home. I can go to an office and work. But when I was hired to work hybrid. So I was going into the office, but I was going into my local office, which is only 20 minutes away from me. And then I was working from home several days a week. The issue is not that. It's that I have to drive 3 hours. Also, the people who think that I was like not working at my house and taking my laptop places and whatever, no. I take my kids to school, work my 8 hours, and then pick them up. I can work. I can start work at 7:30. I just have to work my 8 hours.
Yeah.
The issue is that if I work an hour and a half away, I can't make it in time to pick my kids up and take them to their practices.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to do all of this stuff. I have been doing it.
See, that's what I was saying, y'all. Her real issue here is now her work-life schedule is all off. And she's a single mom. She don't have probably no help because she's a single mom, which is part of the problem, which is a huge problem. So I don't want to downplay that, because being a single parent, a lot of their time is revolved around what their kids got going on. They work schedules, all of that. And then they got practice. They got all the extra stuff that the kids got going on. And she's trying to figure out how to make it work. Like, that to me was just like, yeah, that's her gripe.
And yes, I know so many people have it worse. And I have always been that positive person. And I'm still like, I'm over it right now. It was the initial shock, the initial everything. I just hate asking people for help. I do have family. I have my mother. I have my sisters that can help me, who do help me when I need it. It's just that I do not like making other people responsible for my children. But I am going to make it work, and it's going to, it's going to be okay. I know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you to all the people that showed some empathy and are with me. I feel for y'all too, because these are big changes. Unfortunately, we just have to do it. Obviously, I probably will be looking for something else that's closer to me so that I can, make it work. But anyway, thank you to all the ones that actually showed empathy, and even to the mean people, because, this is going crazy viral. So
I'm on my lunch break, but my unit just got word earlier today that our unit is being dismantled, reassigned, whatever word you would like to use. And while I'm grateful that I still have a job, we have 3 options to choose from. One of the options will give me a 2-hour drive time one way. Through all of this, everything that has been happening, transpiring in the last 45 days, I've known that stuff was coming down the pipeline. We've heard rumors, so on and so forth. And again, I'm thankful that I'm able to have a job, but a 2-hour one-way commute daily dramatically affects my life.
Yeah.
And I do have small children, so it affects my household significantly. There will be no work-life balance at all with a 4-hour commute every day.
4 hours. I know a lot of people ain't going to agree with this, but these jobs don't care nothing about work-life balance. They only care about one thing. And I'm not saying she don't know that. I'm just saying I hear people talk about work-life balance all the time when it comes to their jobs, but I just know that the jobs really don't care. I don't care how much they say they care. I don't care how much team building they try to do. I don't care how many pizza parties they try to do. At the end of the day, they don't care nothing about all of that. Something happened to you, they'll replace you the next day with somebody new. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that's what happens.
So, I don't know, like everyone's just in a frenzy. People were contacting union reps, so on and so forth. But I have to make a decision soon as to what it is that I will do. I feel like in the last 45 days and everything that's been transpiring, I feel like I've been in it, but I haven't been in it, if that makes sense. Like I've just kind of been trying to figure out what's going to happen next because I haven't. But a friend of mine was telling me that, like, I did update my resume. My resume is updated, but I haven't, like, moved forward and actively been pursuing other positions. So, I don't know. I have to make a decision whether or not I want to do a 4-hour commute every day while I have small kids.
That's a rough one.
Yo, I didn't even make it for day 5 working in the office this week. I was so exhausted. I mean, when I was in that office yesterday, my body was hurting. I was like, wait a minute. Body hurting. Head hurting.
What happened? Is it just the commute? Is it because you had to go in? Like, I can understand this probably taking a toll on, like, your mind, and maybe that's why she's having headaches or she's exhausted. I'm just wondering, did something extreme happen?
Like, they could have eased this back in. Something. I had to take off today. I couldn't do it. I don't know how I'm going to start this over next week. This is crazy.
That sounded more like she's not used to the schedule, and this is a lot for her, probably the getting up and going in and the commuting and all of that and making sure you're on time. She said they could have eased us in. See, I feel that's part of how you get people to quit is you don't ease them in. You tell them like, hey, next week, you show up or you don't, or you ain't got no job. And because people get comfortable, I'm not saying this in a mean way. I'm just saying when you're comfortable and you're not expecting it and they say, hey, time to jump, time to move. You're like, wait a minute. We ain't used to doing all, like, what is you talking about? So if you're going to make me do all that, I won't come. And that's how a lot of people no longer ended up working in the position anymore. Now, the federal employees aren't the only one that had this sort of experience. Like, we've seen this happen with a lot of other companies where they were saying, hey, y'all got to come into office or you're going to lose your job. This was happening in the private sector. And we've seen what happened with that. A lot of those employees didn't come in because they were like, no, I live like 3-4 hours away. And the company's just like, well, too bad. Like, we don't care. And they don't care nothing about the fact that you got a house that was 2-3 hours away. Is you coming or not? And they didn't come. So you know what happened. Now, when we were all locked down for the you know what, there was a lot of people working from home, which kind of, it made sense, right? But since then, a lot of companies have got back to normal operating procedures. And so a lot of other regular private sector companies started doing like the work from home thing during that time when people were locked down for the you know what. And I kind of think because of that, because a lot of people missed that, a lot of people did experience that. They're like, well, I had to go back. So do you. And I just kind of see it like, man, it was good while it lasted. Like it does suck to have to return back to office once you got comfortable, because I know I would feel the same way. I'd be like, dang, I don't want to go in. Like, can we be honest, y'all? Like, why do we got to keep on acting like if it was us, we wouldn't understand how they feel? You would not want to do it. Are they probably going to do it anyway? Yeah, because look at the economy. Look at what's going on. You see people out here scrambling for jobs, can't get a job, got all these qualifications and everything, fake job listings. You think people want to deal with trying to get another job? And it wouldn't matter who it was in the situation. Nobody wants to be in this situation. It just don't feel good. And we got to remember, we're all human. We all get frustrated. And I think sometimes when it comes to jobs and things of that sort, people like to celebrate the fact that somebody else is feeling some sort of turmoil. And it's like, you probably felt the same thing. And it's like, yeah, true. You've been in the same situation. Cool. People get laid off all the time. Yes, definitely true. But celebrating anybody getting laid off, in my opinion, it's just not right. Celebrating anybody going through turmoil is not right. Morally, celebrating the downfall of people and just saying stuff like, well, that is what you get. Ha ha, like, we gotta do better than that, y'all. And you know what it really reminds me of? It reminds me of when they were doing the TikTok ban, or when they were trying to get rid of TikTok and everyone was talking about how the influencers had to go back to work and ha ha, you're gonna have to get a real job. I fear that the federal employees that are either getting laid off, unemployed, fired, having to return back to office, they're getting the same treatment that a lot of other people were getting. Now, I don't see this for a lot of private companies, except for the companies that had remote workers. Something about remote workers get smoked. Remote workers and people who make a living doing things that society deems not a real job, you getting smoked. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I wish it wasn't like that. But if you posting videos about it, the trolls are coming. The people who wish that, honestly, the people who wish that they had a job like you had are coming. They are coming to tell you, ha ha. They are coming to celebrate the fact that you are going through it. And it's not right, but that's what they do.
So I also thought it was based on 50 miles being the max distance. I also thought that. But how it was explained to me is, so I'm VA, right? And it's need-based because everybody is now going in person. There is no space at what is my contracted duty station, right? There's no space. And, it's mission accomplished. We have to focus on what the mission is. The mission is the veterans. So it's need-based. So because of that, and because there's no space at what is my duty station, one, which is like an hour and a half, 2 hour commute one way, is over 50 miles, but there is a need there. We have to go where there is the need for help.
Wow.
Because my contracted duty station location is to capacity. We have to be reassigned to where the need is.
Yeah.
That's how it was explained to me. So I hope that helps.
Sounds very similar to when I was in the Army. Try to go to a duty station that everybody actually liked, that people said was actually a good duty station. If it was already packed, you got needs of the Army, meaning you probably about to go somewhere you don't want to go and that nobody else don't want to go, which is what I'm seeing happen to them too. Now, that's just according to what she said and how she said it works. I'm not sure, but if y'all are federal employees in the comments, y'all let me know, is this true? And also comment down below and let me know, how far are you having to travel to return back to office? Or did you just go ahead and say, hey, I'm not doing it? But it seems like in her situation, they was already packed with people already there doing their job. So they said, hey, you got to go somewhere else. And unfortunately, it's a little far out. 2 hours one way. Ugh. You know what this also makes me think? What about the people that drive gas guzzlers? And I know this is like, that's your choice depending on what car you got, right? But man, can you imagine having something like a Jeep or a truck that's horrible on gas mileage and you got to do this 2 hour commute right about now? A Prius ain't sounding so bad to a lot of people. I'm just saying. And if this is the type of commute you got to do, might not even be a bad consideration. I'm just saying, open your mind. Because, man, now, y'all know on my channel, I like to show balanced perspectives. Now, I don't have to always agree with everything I show. And I wish some of y'all would stop thinking that just because I show stuff that I'm in agreement with what I'm showing. The whole point is, this is what people are saying online. This is the rhetoric going on. I want to see what's going on. And I want y'all to tell me in the comments, who do you agree with? Or do you disagree with both sides? Is there anything in this video that you agree with or disagree with? Because that's how we have conversation. Now, we always don't got to agree on everything. But this person right here says that he don't really care about the fact that the federal employees are being laid off. And we want to see why he's saying that. And after that, we're going to show somebody who is saying otherwise. Now, if you want to fight, y'all can join the military. As I always say. Now, this video says, should we feel sorry for federal employees being laid off by the Trump administration? And let's see what he talked about.
Why I don't feel sorry for these employees that are losing their jobs. The big thing that the left wants to do is they want to play to the emotions of Americans and say, oh my God, Trump is laying off all these people and they're not going to have jobs. Well, first of all, I'm going to say it again. Bill Clinton laid off 300,000 people and nobody cares because he was a Democrat. The media didn't care because he's a Democrat. So it doesn't matter. But because it's Trump, it's a big deal. What about during Biden? All the people that Biden laid off during when Biden said you have to get a shot or you was going to lose your benefits. We forgot about that. Remember that? All the people in the military that lost their jobs, all the people that Biden was about to let get fired from the federal government because they wouldn't get a shot. They didn't care about that. So I don't feel bad for these people. We're in debt as a country. And these people, most of them wouldn't even come to work and most of them wouldn't even do their job. So I don't feel bad for them because the average American don't make $100,000 not to work.
Very interesting perspective there. He is right about what happened during the Clinton administration. People definitely got laid off. Now, whether people liked how they got laid off or not, I guess that's up for people to debate. But that was a thing that did happen. But him saying he doesn't feel bad for federal employees being laid off, I mean, that's his opinion. He's allowed to think however he wants to think. And everybody is not going to have empathy for other people in that regard. And that's just the truth. That is the world we live in. But me personally, I feel bad for anybody that's going through any turmoil. But let's see what the next video says.
What the is wrong with some of y'all, man? I've been seeing all the news about all these federal workers that have been getting fired, laid off, people that are on probation, people that aren't even on probation. That, some people resigned that were in higher positions because I'm pretty sure they didn't want to break the law. But I've been looking at like the news on TikTok and on other stuff, on other platforms, looking at videos on here. Some of you people are just terrible people, honestly. I've been seeing in some of the comments, people were saying like, oh yeah, go Trump, go Elon. Like these people just lost their jobs. I saw another video. It was a couple days ago. This woman was talking about all the houses that were for sale in Washington, D.C. And this one woman was talking about, oh, these houses are worth millions of dollars. I wonder how they got it on their government salary. Like these people haven't potentially been living there for years and they bought the house cheaper and it's just like people don't understand appreciation of an asset. It's ridiculous. And then I responded to somebody talking about this and this is going to say, oh, I'm glad like if I have to suffer or like basically saying, oh, if I have to suffer, so do they. Like we all have to suffer through and manage all these cuts that are happening because of Doge. Like what the is wrong with you people, man? Y'all just on here just saying stupid, man. Talking federal workers, people that have to like y'all clearly don't know how it works to get hired and have not had to navigate USA jobs and how difficult the requirements are. You have to have the resume tweaked a certain way. But you stupid, hateful bitches come on this app laughing and enjoying that people are losing their jobs, cheering that on. Like, what the is wrong with you people, man? Like, just because you hate your life and your job doesn't mean everybody else has to suffer just like you. Just because you got not everybody else needs to get you hateful, dirty shit.
Lots of colorful language there. For me, doesn't matter what the job is. Like you losing your job, that's horrible. That sucks. It's not something I would want to celebrate because if I was losing my job or my livelihood, the last thing I would want to hear is a bunch of people celebrating the fact that I'm losing my job and my livelihood. But I fear that people don't understand that until it's them. That's the truth. I never celebrate the fact that anybody that wants to earn an honest living, that's actually trying and doing the best they can, loses their job. It's sad. At the end of the day, we really all aren't that different. We're all just trying to do something to make money. You're not that different from a federal employee. You're not really different from a content creator. You're not that different from somebody that works at McDonald's. You're not that different from somebody that works at a factory. These are all jobs that somebody else owns that at any point they can just say, hey, we tired of y'all. We want to get rid of you. We need to make cuts. We need to save money, whatever the case may be. And you too could be on the chopping block because it's not your company. But sending all my well wishes to all the federal employees and anybody going through a hard time, not just the federal employees, because there's a lot of people getting laid off every day. I'm wishing y'all well too. Anybody that's struggling in this economy and just merely wants to work and make a living, I wish you all the best. I hope none of y'all have to feel the pain of trying to figure out where your money's going to come from and how you're going to feed your family. I wouldn't want that for nobody. Do you think that the people who work from home were just lazy? Do you think they need to get back to the office and shut up? Do you think that people were really just hating on the federal employees? Or do you think that laying off the federal employees was the right thing to do because we needed to get control of the taxpayer dollars? But let me know what you think about all this down below. But we have to start making the better decisions today in order to have a better future.